Hello YouTube, welcome to my 6-hour architectural challenge. Now, first and foremost, we're going to choose our subject. We're going to have a basic idea of what we want to draw, and then I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty and some of the basic rules of this challenge. So first, we're going to search around in Google and see what we can find. And in the end, I found 4 possible buildings that I can design and work on. You can tell me in the comments which one you would have chosen and why. And if you have any other subjects, any other examples that you want me to use and choose, let me know. I might do it next time. Right, these are the examples that I chose. This first one is actually pretty interesting because of all the vertical lines that it has, and it's a type of apartment complex. I really enjoyed the shape it has. And these are some of the other ones that were pretty interesting to do, but in the end I went with my first choice. But these are actually good options. Tell me if you would choose, if you would have chosen one of these. So here's our winner. Now let's get into some of the basic rules and limitations that we have. I'll let Lil Owly tell us about it.
Thanks, boss. Glad to be included. So, the rules are, you're limited to 6 hours and no more. That is not including rendering or sheet designing or anything else. 2. You have the freedom to design whatever and however you like. 3. You have to design the exterior and the interior of the building, not just one of them. 4. You can only use the software ArchiCAD. Hey, you know why? It's because you're new at it. So, that's what the challenge is all about. Have fun!
Okay, let's get the clock rolling. Here goes the first hour. So first we're going to do a little cleanup, and we're going to add the levels and stories of the building so we can work on them. And as you might know, this is actually one of the most important parts. If you don't put down your layouts at the beginning, you're gonna have more and more troubles like I had a few times during this challenge. In the end, I decided to make it a 7-story building, and I put a level for a parapet, and I named it ground floor because usually, depending on your location, you might call it the first floor, sometimes the ground floor, depends on what location in the world you are. And as you can see, I started putting down the grid lines so I can make a basic structure of where I want my columns to be. I decided on a 6 by 6 meter grid line, which would be basic, and usually that's the normal size that you can have your structure on. And after that, as you can see, I saved and I chose the basic form of the columns that I'm going to use in all the structure. Now the overall 4 parts around the building, I used a rectangular shaped structure to make it more fun and interesting, especially on the outside end. And then I used a normal, I believe 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters structure on the inside. And after that, I put down the basic slabs of each level, starting from the bottom to the top, and then everything in between. It was a little bit hard to decide what kind of materials I want to use, but that was part of the challenge. afterwards, I had to decide on one of the most key items of every design building: the location of the stairway. I chose the mid part of the building to focus on it, but after that I changed the location a little bit further to the top. And I used a basic wall structure, but after that I deleted that for different reasons to make it a more connectable in all the spaces. And I started designing the exterior of the building, and at the beginning I didn't want it to make a structure wall or use bricks in all of it. I wanted to use frames. So, and at the beginning I had some difficulties, especially with the spiders junctions, and in the end I deleted them and said, okay, I don't want that, and continued. Now, FYI, this was actually my first time using curtain walls on the building, because in the location that I'm living right now, you can't do that. If you do that, the environment will kill you. So be kind to me. I don't. This is actually my first big experience with this type of form. And as the first hour came near, I just started doing some cleaning up, but I was able to do the basic form and the surrounding of my building to get an idea of what and how I want to develop this. Let me know if you get the reference to 24 in the comments. I want to see how many of you know this one. In the second hour, we started by designing our entrance of the building. I put a roof and basically some glass symbols. After the entrance, I went back to the staircase, and the good thing about ArchiCAD is that it has a lot of different options that you can use. So first I started making the necessary voids in each level so I could go to the roof easily. Then I designed a two-way staircase for each level, but I used the whole space surrounding in the middle. Here I ran into a problem that unfortunately it's just related to my ArchiCAD. Other ArchiCAD they don't have this problem. That is with my railing. Unfortunately, I don't have the railing command. I don't know why, but that wouldn't stop us. I used the basic form of a frame and I designed my own. Next, I wanted to work on my elevator, so I tried to use a circular form, and I'm not exactly proud of what I came up with. It wasn't bad, but there's so many flaws in my design, so I had to keep it that way, and I didn't have any more time to focus on it because it had a whole bunch of work that I had to get to, so I had to skip doing more and more on it. The location of the elevator shaft, I started redrawing and completely moving my staircase. That took a lot of time out of the challenge, but it was fine. It was something that was needed. After that, I wanted to design the last part on the end. Actually, this is, I decided, was the west part of my building, and then I focused on different locations like the bathroom and security and stuff like that. I put it in information, all of them, on this part of the building. And after dabbling with all the details, the windows, the doors on this location, and that was the end of the second hour. So I started the third hour by doing some cleanup, especially in the staircase area. And I made a huge mistake and forgot to record almost all of it in this hour. Because this challenge, I did it hour by hour and different days, so yeah, sorry about that. But you can see the basic results of what we got. In this hour, we were mostly doing some cleanup, and I'm going to show you a basic and simple render at the right here. Now, in this part, I try to extend the quality of the exterior of the house and add some substance to it by making different indent forms in it and different shapes adding to it. So I added a balcony on the northern part of my design to give it extra space to the location. Now again, I used glass frames on it again, and it was quite a tricky process for me, especially when I wanted to add the doorway. After finishing the balcony, I went to the edge of the southern part of the building to make a quarter circular form for the other side to make it a little bit different. And on the other side, I made it a simple line shape to make it completely different. And for the last part, I used again the frame to make railways in front of all the balconies. Next was the design of the facade of the interior. That was the main viewpoint of the building. I wanted to make it a little bit different and a little bit special. I didn't want to be completely one-sided, one shape, a basic form. So I tried to add some basic walls, some different forms and windows to it. So at the beginning of this hour, I wasn't satisfied with the design that I did, and I still wanted to work on it, even though I didn't have much time, but I had to do something about it. So I started doing different stuff with it. I changed the location of the windows that I added, and I changed a little bit more to make it a little bit more interesting. After finishing the facade, I found out that I forgot some of the doorways here on this wall, so I tried to adding them to all the levels, and I ran into a few problems here, but I got through it. And then I had to go straight into designing the interior because I was running out of time really fast. So, and I decided to make two types of furniture systems, and the good thing is ArchiCAD has a great variety of different types of furnitures you can use, so that really helped a lot. Now, one of my mistakes was that I forgot to differentiate the zones and the spaces, but I did know what I was doing. But I used two different forms of the furnitures that ArchiCAD had in his library, each for different levels with some different aspects in wall sections and stuff like that. Now this is a simple preview of how it came out at this level. It's not perfect, but not bad for the time limit that I had, I think. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about it? Now we're at the last hour of the challenge, and the funny thing is I still wasn't satisfied with the entrance facade, so I went back to it and started tweaking it again to add a few more elements to it. Now I didn't have enough time, but I needed an environmental element or two to make the renders look better. So I started working on the ground and a few other items that I could add to it. I wanted to create a topography to make it more interesting, but I didn't have the time, and I wanted to add a skylight to this last part and a few parts to the roof, but again it wasn't working with me, so I had to cut it. I added some cars, a few hedges, and some trees to make the environment look more interesting, but that wasn't enough yet. I went back to finish some of the interior designs and the furnitures that it needed, and I also went to the ground floor. I didn't have any parking lot. I put the parking lot outside, but so I made it into different like spaces for stores or other things. The other parts of the building were mainly focused on administrative uses. And in the last couple of minutes that I had, I added a little bit of streetway to make the area look a little bit different, as much as I could. In the last few minutes, I wanted to change the tile system on the roof and in all the levels, but unfortunately I ran out of time, so that was that. Alright, this was my 6-hour journey challenge in designing this building, so what do you think? I did add a few more things in the end, but mostly to the lighting of the inside, and extracted some rendering from the building. Let me know, what do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? What will you do? What will you change? How would you make this different or better? Let me know in the comments, alright? So, thank you for watching, and like and subscribe to the channel for more challenges. And if you want, you can send me an email of the next design that you want me to do, or leave a link or something in the description. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you next time.